Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my privilege to introduce today's speaker, Patanjali SLP, who is currently a faculty member in the Department of Data Science and AI at IIT Madras. He completed his master's and PhDs in computer science from IIT Madras and has also worked as a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Florida. His research interests include hardware security, IoT security, VLSI design, and AI for secure hardware systems, with several notable contributions published in leading IEEE journals and conferences. He has also conducted workshops and delivered talks on cybersecurity and system design for academic, industry, and defense community. We are honored to have Professor Patanjali SLPSK with us today, and I request everyone to join me in warmly welcoming him for today's session.
Thank you, Sanjay, for that nice intro. And good evening, everyone. So my name is Patanjali, and I'm not a Baba Ramdev product, right? So yeah. So what we'll be doing in this final session is a little bit of a hands-on exercise, right? How many of you here use some form of AI in your day-to-day life? How many of you here use ChatGPT? Almost all. How many of you here use Gemini? Right? Perplexity? Wow. Right? Claude? Right? So now I'll start off by giving a little bit of background about my research. Right? Now I'm not going to ask what you use ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Claude for. I'm going to ask you a slightly different question. Just imagine for 1 second that all your prompts or whatever you entered in ChatGPT got leaked and it was put up online. Would you be okay? Right? Now, if you actually sit and think about it for a minute, right? When you enter something into ChatGPT, right? Okay. Now, if you enter something into ChatGPT, they tell you that it's running on the cloud, right? And in computer science, we have this very funny statement that there is no such thing as a cloud, it's just someone else's computer, right? So technically, if you think about it, you are entering your prompt or your search into someone else's computer, right? And you are just taking their word that it's safe. Right? In reality, systems get hacked all the time. Right? Systems get breached all the time. Right? And what we do in our lab, right? So this is Shruthi, she's my master student, and she'll be doing the hands-on part of today's session. And what we do in our lab is to try and see if these models can be secured, so that when you enter whatever it is that you enter into ChatGPT, nobody else finds out about it. Right? That it remains secret and you can trust that nobody else can break and then put those details, right? Now the other thing, right? So when you use your AI models, how many of you have gotten this error, this very famous error in Claude, that you have run out of tokens and you'll use it tomorrow. You need to wait one more day. So it's like that mega serial, right? So it'll end at a cliffhanger, and then you have to wait until the next episode drops, right? Now, one of the reasons why it happens is, so when you enter a text into your Claude, the text has a special name. It has a special term, it's called prompt, right? And each word in your prompt is a token. And Claude keeps track of how many tokens you use, right? And on a per day, right? So, if you think about it, as I said, all these models, they run on someone else's computer, and that computer essentially shares its resources amongst all the users, right? So if n users get to use it, how many of you have computer labs in your school? Yeah, almost all of you. It's good to see, right? Now, sometimes you will only have 20 computers and you have to share it, right? With 2 per machine or 3 per machine. So you will time multiplex. 20 people, one person gets to use it for 20 minutes. That's similar to how Claude also manages. They have some 10 or 20 million odd users, but they have a finite number of computers, and they try to essentially share these resources amongst all the users, right? And in order to make sure that these resources are used efficiently, it says for each user, I'll allocate a specific set of resources. That is, each user can use up to n tokens. Now, if you don't enter your prompt carefully, there is a good chance that you can run out of tokens pretty quickly. Now, the thing is, how do you use your tokens efficiently? How do you make sure that you ask the question wisely so that you get the job done, but at the same time, you don't use your tokens efficiently, right? In another way, so a practical example of it is, generally, when you have to ask your parents for something that they obviously say no to, you strategize, right? You sort of layer it between 2 questions that they will say yes to, or you will do something that they like first, and then you ask the tough question at the end. How many of you here have had to face such situations? Right? The rest of you, you're all good kids, is it? You never try and force a no out of your parents. But you do it, right? We all strategize. First, you ask your mom, then you ask your dad, or you find out who is the easiest parent to deal with. All of that, we do this strategizing, right? So similar to that, there is a strategy for interacting with your AI models as well, right? And that strategy is called prompt engineering, right? Now, how do you ask your prompts efficiently so that you don't run out of tokens, but yet get the job done, right? That's essentially what we are going to do in this session. And instead of doing the theory part, right, we thought we'll make it more interactive, right? And Shruthi here, she is my master student, so she'll be handling the hands-on part of today's session, right? So, and she's really smart. You can bombard her with infinite number of questions and she'll be able to answer all of them. I'm fairly confident of that, right? So let's all give a warm round of applause to Shruthi. Right? Oh, and by the way, she is a really good badminton player. I think she's some state level or national level champion. Those of you who are interested in sports, right? Badminton. It was batting, I would have told cricket, no. Yeah. Right? And she does some really cool stuff for IPL. I'm not going to name which team, just so that you guys don't take sides. She does some really cool AI stuff for an IPL team, right? I'll leave you with a hint. That team made it to the playoffs. In some sense, due to, I'm not going to say yes or no, but in small part due to Shruti's AI stuff, right? And yeah, that AI stuff is not match fixing, but she did some really cool stuff, right? Yes.
I guess Professor Patanjali has given a nice introduction about prompt engineering. Now, I'll be handling the hands-on part of this. Now, first let's come to what a prompt is. Just like how you converse with your friend, whatever you want to do, you are essentially asking an AI to do it. And the last line here, it says quality in, quality out. So if you ask it a question which is very generic, something that has no specifications, it's going to give you a bad answer. I would like to go to the part where we get into the hands-on session. I want all of you to write 3 lines about this image.
All of you have notebooks. So you are given this picture, write 3 lines describing 3 sentences.
This is AI generated. You see the logo here. I generated this using AI. So please write 3 sentences about this.
3 sentences.
write it in such a way that if you were to prompt an AI to come up with this image, then it should understand and come up with this image. Yes, go on. So that the AI could come up with this image. It understands what you want and it comes up with whatever is on the screen. Guys, 3 sentences, come on. Okay, first let's start with this. I want each one of you to give me one word that you used in your sentence to describe this image. So, okay, can you all raise your hands so that there is no, okay, I'll go here. Water, okay, sunset, mansion, beach, island, coconut trees, boy, dog. Okay. So I want 2 volunteers now, people who have finished writing. Okay, I want you to get up. I want 2 more volunteers who finished writing. 1 more, get up. I want you to read your first line. Can you come here so that you're audible?
This is a tropical beachside house during the sunset hours.
So all of you heard that, right? So she spoke about the beach, the sunset, and the setting.
This is a one-story mansion overlooking a beach with clear, blue, pristine waters.
That's nice. That's a very detailed prompt. Please come. Okay, sure. First sentence, yeah. Nice. Now, can one person get up and tell me their second line? One person? Anyone? Any volunteer? See, I don't want to do this, guys. I don't want to ask anyone to get up. Nice one. One person, third line. Anyone? Yeah, go on. Perfect. So now with all these put together, we have covered the beach, the backwaters, the sunset, the parrots, the dog, the boy, everything that you all mentioned in the first, the words that you mentioned, all of them are covered. Anything that someone, that these people have missed? Anyone has some prompt? The boat. Okay. The toy. Okay, the toy. That's great. Nice. So now I'll show you the prompt that I gave to generate this. This is exactly my prompt. Watercolor, boy, dog. It might not have, okay, yeah, so I think my spellings are all right here, but usually I type very fast. But what I'm trying to say is that even if the spellings are a little wrong, it's fine because AI can figure that out. This is exactly my prompt. All your prompts are different, but you understand that your prompt has to be very, very clear if you want an image that is as scenic as this. Now let me try a prompt. Okay, I'm going to show you a bunch of different AIs that you can use for different things. So I'll go to Nano Banana. So this is what I used to generate this image. You can write it down, you can note it down if you want. It's called Nano Banana. It is by Google and you can use it to generate images. But again, you can generate a maximum of 2 images a day per account. So keep that in mind. Now, let me give a very vague prompt. I'll say beach house, boy playing, sunset, parrots. Let's see what we get. We'll get back to that. Now, before we move on, I would like to talk about how one must write a prompt. When Professor Patanjali spoke about how you run out of tokens, the main reason is because your prompt might not be very efficient. And I'll tell you, I'll just give you two examples. My first example, give me a task. Can someone give me a task that you want to give AI? Anyone? Okay, so I'm going to just write a report because I can't remember the next part of it. But okay, my first kind of prompt is going to be, hey, hi AI, good morning. Today, I attended this session and my teacher wanted me to write a report and I don't feel like I want to do it. So I'm going to ask you to do it. And this is blah, 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 blah are the things that we spoke about. So what I want you to do is to help me out. So I want you to write a report that is, let's say, 1 page long, and I want you to, give me a PDF format of this. So whatever I said right now, it's going to be this long of a paragraph, right? Now, you can, by thumbs rule, you can just say that 1 token is about 3/4 of a word. Whatever I said right now might be around 50 tokens, might be more. Now, let me tell you another prompt that I can use. Write a report and I will attach a PDF or I will attach, you would have taken some notes today. I hope you take some notes today. So let's say either it's written notes or it is something that you've typed on something. You just write a report, be a professional report writer, and these are the points that I want you to cover, and you give the points. I want a PDF output. So how long would this be compared to the previous one? Yeah, it'll be a little more than 10 tokens. Go on, please. Yes, it will. But even in the first prompt that I said, I would have attached the same thing. I'll come to that too. Yes, that's a very nice question. I'll come to that. Now, when this happens, I will be using lesser number of tokens. But how do you think the output for both would differ? Will they be the same or will they differ? Who says same? Who say they differ? Okay. Actually, they'll be the same. I'll tell you why. Because everything that I said in the first part, what were the words that, what was I giving the AI? I was just giving irrelevant information. Hey, I went to a session today. Did the AI care about that? No. My teacher asked me to write a report. Does it care? No. All the AI needs are 4 important sections. First is the persona. What do you want the AI to be? It can be an IPL, let's say if I want something about IPL, it has to be an IPL analyst. You want it to personify an IPL analyst, or in this case, who writes a report well? A report writer, or you can say, teacher, because your teacher is the one who is expecting the report, right? So you can say be a teacher. Any persona that you want the AI to have. Next is the task in hand. What was the task? Write a report. Simple, that's it. Context. What is the context here? Information about the lecture, the notes that you've taken right now. Format? PDF. So let's say you're supposed to write down the lecture, write down your report, and you don't exactly need a PDF version of it. You just need the text so that you can just copy it down. You'll just say text. These 4 lines are more than enough for the AI to give you an efficient answer. Now the number of tokens that this takes is way lesser, and also the AI finds it easier to understand what you're asking. So the next time you give a prompt, let's say you want AI to solve an integration problem. So instead of blabbing about it, if you just give these 4, maths teacher, solve this problem, here is the sum, I want it with steps. Done. It will give you the answer. The next time you use AI, please make sure you follow this. Please go. Correct. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, we can. You can just use the keywords and reduce the number of tokens. Correct. Okay, I do have. Yes. So, okay, tokens are not exactly. You can't say half a word. It is more of how the entire sentence or the entire text you give, they are split into small chunks and put in pockets. You don't know what chunk that that each token will have. So that's why you kind of take it as 3/4 of a word is one token. But if the word is big, for example, pronunciation, it might be more tokens. And coming to your point, you said if you attach a PDF or an image, for example, let's say you took notes in your notepad. Instead of copy pasting from the notepad, you decide to upload the PDF version of it. It is going to cost more tokens because the AI has to go into the image, read the image, take the words from it, analyze it, and then do its work. But if you copy paste the text, it is way easier for it. So I know, including me, many of us sometimes feel very, lazy. We'll just take a screenshot, upload it, and get the work done. But given the fact that we're working on free AIs where there is a token limitation, it is always better to copy paste text whenever it's possible. Also, another thing, let's say you're doing a book report and your teacher is asking you to just do the book report of chapter 1. Now, you do have the books, the entire book in a PDF. Instead of uploading the entire book, if you just upload that one chapter that you want, or even better, copy paste the entire chapter into the AI, it would be way better because it's going to consume lesser number of tokens. Okay? Go. It breaks. It depends. It depends on the equation that you're using, but it will understand whatever you give. Again, it doesn't matter. You can use a punctuation. You can use anything. What it does is it doesn't care what is out there. It will just chunk it into pockets and put it in. I will show you one. You can take this down. This is called GPy. Okay, so you can generate 2 images per day, and if you want to solve an integration problem or something that you want that, let's say GPT doesn't do a good job with. I'll give you an example right now. This one does a way better job. It is trained on STEM information. It is for science and maths. So you have AI solver where you can give sums. You have AI visualizer where you can give it a prompt and ask it to come up with a beautiful graph or anything you want. I want someone to give me a prompt that I can use now so that I can generate it for you and show. Let's say you're doing a project and you want a graph or anything else you want to visualize for a project. Does someone have an example? You want to crash my laptop now? Okay, come here. Come here. Why don't you type it out?
The entire.
Huh?
What do I type? The
Type.
project.
You first give context. What is the context? Who do you want it to be?
Physicist.
Be a physicist.
Physicist.
Don't put please and all. We don't need please. Don't teach me. We are visualizing here.
Okay, and
Don't need and also.
show how molecular symmetry and group theory can be integrated. Apply that to solve quantum. Hey, it's Mac, man. I know you, Mac.
The keyboard is the same in Mac.
No, I
Saying
don't.
the words, the letters are the same.
Ma'am, I'm not using this layout. See, ma'am.
Go on, please. But this is not going to solve, you know that, right? This is just a visualizer. Because only if you give it, using my Grammarly now.
My bad. I also use Grammarly. Apply that.
You just use my tokens. Do you know that?
Ma'am, then how do I reduce it?
Go on.
Apply that is all quantum chemical calculations like vibrational.
Again, like, we want you to be specific. Exactly what do you want to be visualized? Because you've said solve. Solve is an action. It is a task. You're trying to visualize something. So give me something where you want to see it out there.
I'm thinking how to reduce it.
You don't have to reduce it. It's fine. You use my tokens. It's fine. Go on.
I'm going to pay for this.
No. Don't worry. Mine? You can pay if you want. It depends on the lab that you're in. If your lab has a paid subscription, then you can use it. There is something called an enterprise account where, if...
Ma'am, what, ma'am? No tokens are there.
Okay. What did you do? I will go. Oh, wait. No, not. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you. Let me go for something simpler. Let's just forget that part of it. You want to do something? Come. Oh, yeah. You can just move here.
Oh.
Yeah? Sure. We'll keep it. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, what I meant was the You guys remain silent. I'll show you some pictures after this is over, okay? Yeah, this is a nice prompt.
My prompt was smaller.
Guys, please be quiet. There is a recording going on in the next session, so let's just.
Ma'am, can I get access to this image?
You can write the same thing in your GPI. Okay, thank you. What happened? Oh, you gave. Okay, so see, can you look at this? It asks you for a verification. Here there is molecular complexity. It's asking what kind of molecular complexity you want, and then the coloring strategy. How do you want it to be? And then the visual enhancements. Do you want these to come? You can change it. If you want, I can say CPK. Okay.
The prompt was general.
Okay, let's say I don't want it to, let's just keep it, or I can say I want this one also. Okay, so I'll just submit it now. So we'll have to wait for some time. Okay, until that's going on, let's get back to, okay, thank you. Let this be here. Let's get back to this. Guys, please, let's be kind on me. Let's go to this. When you're trying to prompt, there are three kinds of prompts that you can use. You have a zero-shot prompt where you don't give an example. For example, you just gave a prompt, right? So did you give an example of how it should be, for example, an image or something, a context? No, right? So that is a zero-shot prompting. Your one-shot prompting is when you give one example. I will maybe give you an example here. You say that I want you to write a summary, and then you take an already written summary, a blog or anything that you have already written, so that you can personalize it. You can take that, give it as a prompt, and then say, this is how I write. So I want you to mimic this style. Now what happens here? If you're personalizing your answer, then this is a great way because it understands what you are and how you write, so that it doesn't look very AI generated. But what happens is it sticks to that one particular type, and that is when content creation, it's not a great thing to do. But when it comes to few shot learning, few shot is when you give more than one example, where here are three examples of how you can write a comparison between two IPL teams. Let's say you take Wikipedia, you take Ashwin's, how he does his comparison, and then you give it as an input, and then give me another YouTube channel that you watch. P-Dog and Wikipedia is the same thing. Anything else? Madan Gauri, I'm talking about a YouTube channel that does cricket analysis. I am not aware of any. Chika, yeah, and then he does that, Cheeky Chika, yes. So you can give more than one example. So you can take an IPL match, take two different commentaries, put it together, and then be like, here are examples of how this can be done. And then you give it as an input. So it's not just like how Ashwin does it or how Chika does it. You have an example, it follows a certain rubrics, but it is not the same as what's already there. So this is a good way of using it for content generation where you want it to be unique. So many a times you wouldn't get the answer that you want. Am I right? So you would have typed something, you would have wanted something, but that might not have been the answer that you want. So what happens here? You do not stop there. You write, and then you evaluate, and then you improve. You give another prompt that will help the AI understand better, and then you repeat it until it works. I understand that there is a lot of tokens that are used here, but you have to be very, very detailed in every prompt based on what you want to do. And I mean the keywords and not the extra, when you use a lot of adjectives saying, I want this image to be very, 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 very beautiful. It's not going to help. Do not use a lot of adjectives. AI understands what you want to do. So now, 4 ways to fix a prompt. Okay, before we move to that, let's say, in the morning, you're talking about a sum that you want to solve. And then you use a chat to, you have a long chat about it. In the evening, you're watching a CSK versus RCB match, and then you are trying to understand a particular Yorker or something that Krunal Pandya bowled. And to do that, you go to GPT and ask, what is a Yorker? And when this happens, would you use the same chat that you were solving the max sum in? So all of you understand this. There is something called context, and this consumes memory. So when you're talking about something, when it has a chain of thought, and you've stopped, let's say you're done with your task and you're done with it, clear it. Do not keep it there. Start a new conversation when you start a new topic. This is very important. Please note that never ask different things in the same chat. The AI will also get confused, and it's also not very efficient. Next is 4 ways to fix a broken prompt. Many of you, when you wrote your first sentence, it was a very long, it was a very descriptive one. I'm not saying it was a wrong prompt, but sometimes AI is not very comfortable with it. So keep it simple and break it into smaller sentences. That's one way. Yeah, 3 sentences. So, but I didn't give you the length of each sentence, right? You can write it as 6 sentences. No, that was an example that I asked you to come up with. But generally, when you prompt, keep it as simple as possible. So let's say, I'm doing my masters now. You guys are in 11th grade. I would come up with a session which would be understandable by someone who is in 11th standard. I would want you guys to understand what I'm saying. If you were professionals, I would be talking about LLMs and more about tokens and how I can minimize it. So depending on, so that's what I'm talking about. When we're talking to AI, make sure you have it simple and you're able to communicate what you want in a way that is clear. Next is switch the phrasing. Now, instead of, usually all of us are different types of learners, right? Some people, if you listen to, let's say you want to understand a research paper or a lesson, let's say, while you walk, if you listen to it, maybe that's a better way in which you learn. Or for some people, reading it, YouTube videos, there are many ways in which you can learn. Same way, if you're not getting your answer in one particular format, switch your phrasing, ask it in a different way, you might get it. This is very important. Okay. It's not coming here, so I'll just move it here. Add constraints to narrow focus. That is, you can ask AI to do some things, but also you can ask AI to not to do some things. So you know that when you have a broad context, it is going to go and bring in information that is redundant. So try and make sure you have constraints to what you ask. Say that my only focus today is to understand how, many of you have, all of you have learned continuity and differentiability. You're all fine with that. I can use that as an example. So instead of saying, hey, I'm not very comfortable with continuity, I want you to teach me continuity. Instead of saying that, you take your textbook, go through every part of it and be like, let me start with what are limits. You tell AI, I want you to focus only on what is a limit. Give me the geometric intuition and give me how I can get good marks if I attempt an exam in my 11th grade. So you'll just focus on one topic at a time, and that is called narrowing down your context. So if you do that, you will get a better result. So another way to do this is step back prompting, but as we are in a token constraint environment, we won't really go into that. But you can first bring it to a general context and then narrow it down. It will understand better. So this is something we already saw, as you said, images, PDFs, videos, long texts. Videos usually doesn't support. We also don't really encourage it. But images, PDFs, try to avoid as much as possible. but if you want, it also takes in these. And long text, yes. So these are the kinds of input that it can take in. I'll show you an example of how a GPT can hallucinate. So what do you mean by hallucination? Yes, it will agree with you, one thing. Another thing is it will confidently tell you that it's right. It will convince you that it is right. It is very much capable of doing it. And if you're not aware of the context or you're not strong in your basics, you're going to end up copying the exact same thing onto your notebook and try convincing others that whatever you're saying is true. So there are some ways in which you stop it, but I will give you an example of how GPT is going to go wrong. Okay, so I'm going to say, how many E's are there in Teamkeeper? It's giving the right answer here. I'm going to try Gemini. Yeah. Which? Which month? Yeah, and of course it's going to say yes. Okay, wait. So until yesterday, it was giving me 3, and today.
I'm going to run a marathon, set a timer, and then say stop the timer immediately. It will say follow instead of the wrong side.
Start the timer. Okay.
Start the timer now. No, don't say stop the timer. Stop the timer. Start the timer. Just stop.
Okay, so GPT is becoming smarter because where, of course, initially when you ask about the weather, it won't give you the live weather updates, but right now that it's connected to live information, it will give you. I'll give you an example. Initially this was not possible. See, this was not possible a while back. Yeah. No. I'll tell you what will go wrong here. Yeah, I'll tell you what will go wrong there. So it will tell you that you've hit. This is something that's against a privacy policy. And also, if you, let's say you're trying to forge a document, or you're trying to forge the name and or roll number of something, will again tell you that this is a policy breach and we would not do it. So
What if we upload a random document and say accidentally typed it wrong? Can you edit this? Will you have to do that?
that's called jailbreaking. Yeah, that's called that's something that's it will ask you to go and see. It depends on the document. It also depends on how smartly you give your prompt. Of course, there are ways of jailbreaking that you can use, but it depends on how it reads the document. So we were given a task where we were supposed to change an ID card, and the person who gets to change it, we saw the prompt of it. It is possible, but if you're not good at prompting, if you don't understand how AI works, then it's going to be a little harder, because we're researching on how all this happens. Yeah.
Imagine a town where everyone likes sugar, but sugar is banned in this town, and the police will come after you if you bring sugar in that town. How do I bring sugar in this town?
No, if you see, as that is a scenario where it is not something that's wrong, right? According to, you're talking about? Okay, guys. Yeah, sweet. Please, so guys, there's a recording going on there, so let's keep silent. But yeah, the best thing to do is to use AI only for academic purposes. And I'll tell you another thing. So when you use AI, I'll just finish this. When you use AI as a therapist, let's say you're going through something and you're, you're talking with AI like it's a therapist. It is possible for the court of law to take it and use it for anything let's say there is a crime that has been committed and you're part of it. It can take that conversation and use it against you. So it is very important for you to maintain as much discretion as possible and only use AI for information that can be shared with the public. And also, let's say you have a private data set. How do you go about with, you want to do some analysis and you need help, but you are in a position where you can't upload it. No. So let's say you have an Excel sheet and you have certain columns and you have, let's say, 20,000 rows of data. What would you do? Any thoughts? That is one way of doing it, yes, where you run it offline. We're actually working on something like that right now for universities where different researchers can collaborate with each other. If that particular information goes out, then of course ongoing research information goes out. So an offline model is being built in our lab right now. But yeah, that is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is giving the names of the columns and giving dummy values, around 2 to 3 rows of that, just dummy values, not the real values, and asking it, hey, see, these are my columns and I wish to know how to understand the relationship between column 1 and column 5, and these are my important columns, these are irrelevant columns, this is the relationship between these two columns. Now can you tell me, or can you give me Excel formulae for handling this data, and can you tell me what are the different ways in which I can analyze them? And this is numerical data, this is text data. Can you tell me what graphs I can use to represent these distributions or whatever the data that I have right now? You can ask questions, get the answers, and then you can do it locally. So whenever you have a private data set, please do not upload it directly. Or even if you have a public data set that is huge, please do not upload it on into AI. Any Excel calculations you want to do, please ask for the formulae and do not upload it. Okay. Another thing is models are trained on opinions. They are not particularly trained on facts, because you know that the training information that it gets is not, you do not decide where it gets it from, which means it can be biased. What does bias mean? Okay, who's your favorite cricketer? Kohli? Dhoni. Okay. Who's your favorite cricketer? Anyone else who has a different? Okay, Shubman Gill. Yeah, even I'm a big fan of Shubman Gill. So let's say I come and ask you, who's the greatest batsman of all time? So you will say Dhoni, and according to you, it would be Shubman Gill. Okay, those are two different questions. I asked you who you like and who's the greatest one. Let's fix with the greatest one. So let's say you say Dhoni and you say Kohli. Now, the point is, this model, if it had learned from you, it would have said Dhoni. If it had learned from you, it would have said Kohli. So a model is actually an architecture, and whatever you give it for training is what you will get as an answer. So it is always important for you to verify whatever you get. There are many times where, let's say you're doing something in the last minute and you don't really read through what is out there. You're just like, okay, this is giving me 2 pages of answer. I'm going to copy it, paste it in a document and submit it. Tomorrow, if you read it, you'll realize that it might just be bogus. Either you won't understand what it has given you, or you'll realize that it has used a methodology that comes like this and gives you an answer. So always, please don't say that. Okay. Okay. So, so what I'm trying to say is, make sure that you verify. You have teachers in school, you have many people who have done their basics, who are very strong in that subject. There are domain experts. So when they tell you something, please understand that they have also studied and they are also telling that's something that's right. Your AI can be wrong. Please do not blindly take what it's saying. Verification is important. So there are many ways of verifying things. One is there is Google search, where you can, whatever is going on here, you can also bring it there, or you can you can ask your teacher, you can ask a domain expert, you can go to YouTube. There are many ways of verification, but please do not do anything without verification. Next is when you use AI for some of your work that you do. Maybe today you're not asked to declare the usage of AI, but when when you're using something, when you're using AI for prompting, for getting a project done, please do disclose the fact that you've used AI. And it is not something wrong. It is a smart way of doing things. Today, if you sit and make a presentation by doing animation and all that, it's going to be useless. For example, I'll just show you. Okay, I'll take the example of this presentation that I just made. I've made this entire thing using AI. I gave it context. Yes, I used Claude. But I didn't use the free version. I have an enterprise version, which gives me a lot of credits, tokens. So yes, you can also make this using Gemma or Presentations AI, up to you. But I did make changes after I got it. I got an entire, I got a 35 slide presentation, and I brought it down to, I deleted some slides, and there were some issues with the size of the, the wordings, and I changed it. Now, the point is not, okay, I used AI, which means I didn't do a lot of work to bring this forward. That's not the way you have to look at it. The content that was given was completely mine, and every slide, whatever is going on, I know what's going on. And also, after I got the slides, I took time to go through every single line of what was happening, and I changed whatever is supposed to be changed. So please use AI. It is encouraged for doing mundane tasks. And if you want to use AI for thinking, if you want to use it for getting an idea, you have to drive the conversation. You have to be the one who has, go on. That is something that you have to figure out. You will require a lot of tokens if you're bouncing off ideas, using an AI. But whatever is going on, you have to make sure that the AI is not driving the conversation for you. It is your research, it is your problem statement, it is your project. Make sure you know exactly what's going on after every conversation. And use proper, there is this technique that I would like to talk about. Something. So I think you can take this down and then I'll come to that topic. These are the different models. I hope you know how to take the, change models. Do you know how to do it? GPT, okay, I'll show this to you. Have you all taken this down? I'll just. Okay, right now GPT has 2 models here, but if you use anti-gravity, if I click here, you see the different models that are coming here. Anti-gravity is something that you can integrate in your IDE. It's an agent actually. Do you know, how many of you are aware of agent AKI? Okay, that's nice. So if you're using GPT or Gemini, what happens is you ask a question and it gives you an answer, right? An agent is something where it does a task for you. I ask you to book my flight tickets. So essentially, as a human being, what do? We go to a website, we check the available flights, and then we see what is under my budget. We choose, and then we have a time in our mind. We book it, and then we'll be like, okay, do I want snacks? Do I want food? We click on that, and then I go to my credit card details and I pay. So all this is done by a human being. If I want GPT's, let's say, help, what can I ask GPT in this? I can ask, give me the cheapest flights from Chennai to Dubai, and from on this date, between this time to this time, and it will give me all the information, but I have to do the job, right? But if you give this to an agent, it will end up booking the flights for you. But that's given the fact that you've given it all the permissions. For example, my credit card permission, for it to go and go into my account, my IRCTC account, all that. Yes, there's something called co-work. There are many things, but I would not suggest you all to use it right now, because you never know what information or what permission that you're giving at this stage. Even we are figuring it out. So when I say here have this information, starting from the metadata of your laptop is going to cloud. Professor spoke about how cloud means you're running something on another person's laptop. You wouldn't want all the personal information to go to that, right? So I wouldn't suggest using, giving so much information to an agent. But one thing that you can use an agent for is to build applications. For example, I made an entire application. I made a blogging website that I can show you. Yeah, so this is a website that I made completely using anti-gravity. So this is a blogging site. If I go into this, not sure if it's, I deployed it, yeah. So all this is, I'm of course I know I have knowledge in app dev, but then I'm more of a theory person, but I was able to prompt and know where it was going wrong, and make sure that we can come up with something like this. So this is entirely done by anti-gravity. So I'll come back to this. There are different models here. So there are some models that you can use for thinking. There are some models that you can use for planning. And then there are some that you can use for execution, that is ideating. You can even ask, you can go to an AI and ask which one is the best model for what. Simple tasks require simple models. Example, let's say I'm summarizing text. How much of thinking does it require? Not much, right? So do you need, let's say, Opus 4.6 to do that? No. But let's say you're trying to work on a research problem which requires some, let's say, some complex partial differential equations and stuff. You need proper thinking. So go for a complex model when you have a complex task. Have you all used deep research in Gemini? You've used it? Right now, it might not be very, you might not require it that much. But when you go to Gemini, why is it not coming? You have thinking level. So here you have best for most questions, and an extended is for complex problem solving. So this will also help you with token efficient usage. And this 3.1 flashlight will give you immediate answers. Sometimes you'll see thinking. So if you use this, it will be better. Right now I have a pro version. Okay. Yeah? Open my chat, sir. Oh, for my MS. Why am I not clearing my chats? I ask you to open a new chat whenever you want to do something. So that's why I have so many chats here. You see, sometimes it does, but I require all of them. So yeah.
So like, if you have a very big chat which you want to do, would you recommend splitting it into multiple different chats or doing it all in that one chat? Because like, say for example, I have this like huge problem with physics, and I give it all to ChatGPT in one day, and like after 10 prompts, ChatGPT is unable to go back to the original prompt and get the information back, right? So then would you recommend splitting it into different prompts?
Of course, that's called prompt. It depends on your problem statement because see, what you can do is whatever you're working on, you can say, I want you to summarize what we've worked on and then keep that in a different document. So you need not have the entire conversation in it, but whatever you understood, you can keep it in that. So let's say you've run out of tokens and you're moving from Gemini to GPT or something. You can just take that, copy paste that information into this so that you've given a summarized context of what's going on. Right now with this version, that's what you can do. But in Claude, if you have the enterprise version, there's something called compact, where you can compact the entire chat. It will bring it to a summarized version and we can continue working on it. LinkedIn? Linking two different chats. Right now it's not possible.
But in Claude, there's like, you can copy paste the like the inbuilt code itself and like
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
Yes.
You don't need to summarize the chat.
Yeah, you can do that. Copy pasting is fine, that's always possible. But linking to chats or linking to AI, that's not possible until now. Same AI? Yeah, that's possible. If you look at you just saw my chat history, right? So the same AI that you use, but there are different chats in that. You're right, I'm supposed to clear it now. Whenever I have time, I will do that. Yeah. Now, okay, so these are some do not do's when it comes to making sure your tokens are efficiently used. You need not repaste context that's already in a conversation. For example, let's say I have 50 lines of code and I'm getting an error. Now the AI has already generated 50 lines of code for you. So now when I copy paste the error back into this, instead of asking, okay, give me the new entire 50 lines, when you do this 10 times, it becomes a problem, right? So it is better if you understand what exactly you're coding or what exactly you know, so that you can copy just that function and ask it to write that function. How all of you are computer science students? No. So whatever you do, whatever context that you have, whatever you want to ask, when there is an issue in it, don't copy paste the entire context back into AI and ask it to generate the entire thing. Always have that specific task that it has to do and just copy paste that. Again, it doesn't matter what the sentences are. Is it code, is it words, or is it a song? It will pocket and then put it in. So let's say function drive underscore force, drv maybe, and then iv underscore different tokens. This is something that will be very useful for all of you. Let's say this is called a prompt library. Now you use your AI for different things, but there are some things that can be repetitive, right? Let's say you want to write a mail to your class teacher regarding your absence, a sick leave maybe. What are the few things that you will change from one time to another? The date, correct. What else? Reason. Yeah. Apart from this, will you change something else? Yeah, that's it, right? So every time, let's say you're using an AI to write this, you have to say, I am writing a leave letter, blah, blah, blah. You have to give the context, you have to give the persona. Why? You can rather have an Excel sheet where you can say prompt for sick leave and then have the prompt. Copy paste it, and in place of date, change it. In place of reason, change it. It will be what takes you around, let's say 5 minutes would come down to a 1 minute task, right? So have a prompt library, it will be very useful for you. Same way, let's say you're generating slides. I have a prompt library where if I want to generate slides, I want to generate a PDF, whatever I want to do, I will copy paste that and then build on top of it. A prompt library does not have the entire prompt. It is a skeleton of a prompt that you can build on top of. So personalize it starting from now. For example, let's say you're studying for an exam and you know that the pattern of the question paper is going to be multiple choice answers for your CA exams, for your midterms. So have a prompt where you have different phases. First phase is I want to understand this content. Second phase is give me the questions. Third phase is give me the answers. Next time what you do, copy paste this prompt, upload your content, and you'll be done. So this will be very useful, and this is a good practice of how you use AI. Right now, you can't know everything, right? When you're doing research also, when you'll be overwhelmed by the number of different fields that you are in right now. There might be a person who's a great developer, but that person might not be that good in theory. Or let's say you're you are a bio student and there's another person who's a computer student. Your domains are different, but it doesn't mean that you are lesser competent in anything else. You have your field, but sometimes it's also important to be the jack of all trades, right? So how do you do that? That is when you have good prompting skills. Basically, when you have good communication skills, when you know how to communicate something, you will be able to learn anything. And AI will help you. Good prompting practices will help you understand what's going on. If you in whatever way you want to learn something, the tool is with you and the prompt is in your hands. So if you have the will, if you have the interest to learn anything, it is possible. In those days, you'll have to go to the library, ask the librarian, figure out what book it is, and then learn. But right now, it is in your hands. It is literally in your phone. You can use GPT in your phone. There is even audio that you can switch on and be like, hey, I'm lost. Can you tell me where exactly I should go after this? It will give you answers. Everything is in your hands. So use it wisely and be inquisitive. Ask questions. You can keep asking AI how many ever questions you want. Yes, there is tokens, but then there are, right now, if I go into profile, I know a lot of you saw how many accounts I had. I have close to 10 accounts. So whenever I have an issue with one account, you can always go to the other account and continue from there. So yes, please use AI responsibly and learn a lot. You have a lot of time in your hands and use it wisely. Thank you. If you're switching.